Well, the Job Creators Network Foundation is amplifying the voices of health experts on getting Americans safely re-engaged in society and strengthening our economy. Joining us to discuss the Flatten the Fear campaign is Job Creators Network's Chief Communications Officer, Elaine Parker. Good morning, Elaine.
Good morning, Lauren. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Let's talk about this Flatten the Fear campaign. What exactly is it?
So we launched a campaign just about 2 months ago called Flatten the Fear, and really America, did a great job when we were, early in this. We didn't understand a lot about this virus, and so we had to flatten the curve so that we didn't overrun our hospitals. And we did a good job of doing that. But the media has done such a fantastic job of scaring people that we haven't actually re-engaged with society. We haven't gotten all our kids back to school. And there seems to be a real movement in trying to keep society shut down and trying to keep people cooped up in their house and trying to keep our kids home from school. And so what we're doing with our Flatten the Fear campaign is putting a mic in front of doctors and experts in the field who treat COVID patients every day and understand who the vulnerable populations are, and that the rest of us can get out and re-engage back in society. And that starts with getting our kids back to school too.
Yeah, what we've seen is some of the places that have taken a ton of preventative action having sort of similar results as places that don't have the same restrictions. Is that some of the data that you're looking at? Because what we've seen all along is, oh, we're looking at data, but it's really who's interpreting the data and how they're choosing to enforce action and preventative measures. So what are you looking at to make some of your judgments with this campaign?
Sure. Well, I mean, just some of the statistics that we look at, half of the deaths in the country have occurred in nursing homes, and over 80% of them have occurred in people over the age of 65. That doesn't discount the importance of those deaths. They're all tragic, but it helps us understand that we can isolate the few and still protect the many without having to isolate the many to protect the few. And we can do that through taking precautions, social distancing, wearing masks if you're around somebody, when you can't social distance, washing your hands, and taking those kinds of precautions. If you are a healthy American, you can get back to work. You can re-engage in society, and we need to, because the societal costs of these lockdowns have been tremendous, from our kids not being in school to higher drug use, physical abuse, sexual abuse. There is a lot of societal cost. This isn't life versus the economy, as some would argue. It's actually life versus life, and we have to look at that so that the virus isn't worse than the virus is going to be worse than the cure, and that is not the solution to keep us shut down.
So have you heard back from, I'm assuming you're getting pushback from a number of people on this issue. What has the feedback been, and how are you sort of countering the other side of the argument?
So the Job Creators Network represents small businesses, and they have been on the front end of this pandemic. They were on the front end of the greatest economy we've seen in half a century, but they were also on the front end of being shut down. And what we've seen is that many of them are still shut down. Restaurants are really taking the brunt of this. Hair salons, nail salons, massage places. I mean, those places are unable to reopen in some areas, and with proper precautions they can. But what our small business owners are telling us, when they hear, Joe Biden say that he would do another shutdown, it sends shudders down their backs, because they're not going to survive another shutdown. And many of them aren't going to survive this first one. And I'm glad to see that Nancy Pelosi agrees with us, and that she's re-engaging in society and going and getting her hair done, because you can safely do that. You can safely re-engage and get your hair done and get your nails done and do things like that. So I'm glad that she agrees with us.
Yeah. Well, Elaine Parker, thank you so much for your time this morning. And Flatten the Fear campaign is the name of it. And you can check out the Job Creators Network at jobcreatorsnetwork.com for more information. Elaine, thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Take care.